2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Diablo 3 from a casual point of view. On episode number 9, I'm here with Nate Dogg as well. He is back from his trip from Philippines, which we established next week. But some people actually, when we were talking about the Philippines, people were like, "Is he going? Tell him to bring me a wallet." And I was like, if he's going and you saw him just bring me a wallet, what makes you think? And I stopped myself and I just let it go.
That's funny.
But as always, we're good to have him here. And what we basically try to do in covering the show is just really just get Diablo 3 from the perspective of a casual gamer. Casual gamer is not a bad thing. Nathan's a good casual gamer. He doesn't sit half of his playtime in forums and trying to complain about getting a little buff update, or he's not trying to think that he's entitled. What, Nathan, you just want to basically get in, have a good time, enjoy yourself, and see some decent progress for the amount of time you invest.
Most definitely.
Okay, cool. All right, so I don't know if you heard, I know last weekend, how'd your week go for you, Crusader? Now, we left you last week, and the buff was on. How did everything go for you with getting the rift shards, or the fragment shards, and getting the rifts done?
I did some rifts. I did more bounties.
How are the legendaries?
I got a bunch of recipes. Like, I got like 9 or 10 of the green.
Oh, that's really good, because once you get one, then you never get it again.
Right, I got a bunch of them. I got a new belt. I got some new gloves. They're not legendary, but they were better than what I had.
Okay, that's awesome.
I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I got some new shoulders. They're green. They're awesome.
Although the invoker. Really well, they're gonna buff it later, so.
But as an actual item, it's pretty kick-ass.
Okay, so pretty much you've noticed a difference in getting these little pieces of gear, and you're slowly starting to notice that your guy is making good progress. And we'll give Nathan Dogg a round of applause. He's finally in Torment level 1.
Probably go to 2, actually.
Whoa, that's ballers type stuff. So, how many hours would you say last week did you actually end up spent last week actually playing the game?
Maybe 5.
Okay.
Maybe.
Not too many. Even with the legendary buff, you only play 5.
Well, she gets in the way. Family, fucking.
Oh yeah, that's true. Family man, and he has a wife. He has a dog. He has family members. He has a sister with his uncle. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. In the 5 hours that you spent with the game, for the most part, you felt like everything was going pretty well. You felt the drop rate was good. You felt everything. Okay, all right. Anything that you didn't like or you didn't care for, maybe?
No.
Okay.
Nothing to really complain about.
Now, come this Wednesday or Thursday, what they did, Wednesday or Thursday, I forget which day, which, they made it so that you don't get 2 fragment shards, the rift fragments anymore, but they kept the 100% buff inside the game because a lot of players had a lot of outcry. I don't want to say outcry, let's be politically correct. A lot of people were just suggesting, some were bitching about it. I didn't like the post that basically said, some people were saying, hey, this would be great, plus, ladders are coming out anyway, and the one thing on the contrary, I say the buff is good that they kept it permanent. It's ingenious for ladder. Ladder's only a certain amount of seasons, so upping the legendary rate makes sense to me. How do you feel about that, for at least in terms of ladder?
No, that makes a lot of sense, because if you only have a month or whatever they decide to do, you need to get as many as you can. And
I did get some new information about the ladder. Any of the ladder Pacific legendaries will become available for standard level characters who are non-ladder after the season's over. How do you feel about that?
Find something kick-ass, but as long as it's for the class you're running.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, I mean, maybe if you played the other end of your category. So if you played a demon hunter and for ladder you wanted to play a monk?
Oh yeah, that would kind of counteract you because then you would get the legendary exclusive for the monk, but it doesn't mean that you'll be able to carry it over to what class you have already. But then again, once the ladder season ends, then you can hunt for that item on your DH and find it, because once the ladder season ends, that item comes available to the standard normal level pool.
Oh, so they actually retroactively put it into the availability.
Exactly. So if you play ladder and you say you get a level 70 barb and then you get it up to like Paragon 100, right? Season's over. Let's say you found the new specific legendary for the barbarians. Well, when the season's over, you can either transfer to all your stuff's going to carry to your main account, so you can use them on your characters. So you can get it that way. Or let's say you didn't participate in the ladder season, and you start farming as soon as the ladder season's over. Bam, the item drops now.
So it sounds like it's almost pointless to do ladder unless you enjoy it.
Well, I think it's going to be ladder mostly for the competition, and then a lot of people were angry that they're going to have ladder only exclusives and forcing them to play ladder. So on Blizzard's standpoint, I definitely do understand that. It was actually a pretty smart move by Blizzard's part to make that item available, because I'm thinking, well, do I really matter about having ladder exclusive legendaries? And I said no, because the whole point of doing ladder, I want to be competitive. I want to rank up and stuff like that. I don't care if other people get the legendaries. More legendaries for all. Okay. So I'm pretty much in agreement about that. All right. No, I totally want. Okay, so that's one positive thing about the buff. I don't like them buffing it right now in standard play, because I feel that, well, we know the console version comes out in August, and now they said that they're trying to get the ladder out in August, but it's nothing against Blizzard. Just realistically, I don't think, and then plus, supposedly in between the time of September to another time, they're going to have World of Warcraft expansion coming out. So I think with the console and the expansion, I don't think we'll see ladder until September, and I don't think we'll see World of Warcraft until probably November.
Yeah, because they stagger their stuff. Blizzard's not dumb. They know what they're doing.
So, I mean, I hope ladder comes out. Oh, I'm hoping it comes out in August. That's what I'm hoping for, but I don't think so, because the August 19th, the console version is going to come out. So, actually, we should be online. Stop streaming. No, we're on streaming. It's just not, I guess Twitch TV is getting bogged down right now. If anybody can give me a view count, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, we're live. I just had to double check.
It still says we're offline.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how many peeps are in the rooms.
So, the one problem I had with it is that, okay, there may not be any new content for a couple months, which has happened before. I mean, we've all done to that.
Right.
And the thing I worry about is if everybody just simply gets the gear really quick, then a lot of people are going to just stop playing the game. Or they're just going to say, like, what happened back in Vanilla Diablo 3, you know, before the expansion, when everybody got the gear, everybody was kind of like saying, like, this game is shit and it's horrible. And it's not shit and it's not horrible. It's just maybe we got too much loot ahead of. How do you feel about the horror? Do you think it doesn't really matter because ladders are going to come out anyway? Do you think they did the right thing to do so they can keep, you know, players interested in the game? If you were at Blizzard, how do you think you would have done it?
I probably would have done what they're doing. You need to keep people playing. Doesn't matter what's gonna come out. If you lose a fan audience, you lose it. We have a friend, Jared. He doesn't have Reaper Souls. He doesn't. He bought the original. If you log on to, actually, we might be able to find it. He hasn't been on in like a year. Where is he? 321 days. That's a guy that I knew. Wherever fucking Jared is. Like, there's seriously people that have not logged in almost a year.
Okay. So you think that was a smart move with the anniversary buff, just to kind of extend it and keep people playing?
Yeah, you need to get people to constantly play.
Okay.
Some people will come back. Most people will come back. Some people won't. And that's another, let's see, you know, what, $500? There's a guy, there's another guy up there. I mean, it's stupid to say, yeah, you're losing to 3 people, but that's 2-3 people I know.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're a big company like Blizzard, having a 10% loss is a huge loss.
Because it's a lot of money for them.
Yeah, because you got to pay the people to update the game, make the new game. I mean, there's a reason that there's a fee for MMOs. I don't agree with it or like it, but I know the reason. Okay.
So basically you're saying that Blizzard made the right decision. You could see how some people may not... But, I mean, the way it looks is, for the most of the player base, it's a good idea, and then plus it helps out ladders.
Yeah.
You know, I have to say, I would have been really infuriated if they didn't keep this buff for the ladders or stuff like that, but since ladders are coming out, it makes sense. And it does. I also did tell people the one benefit it does to ladder that does make sense because the season constantly keeps resetting. So that was a big debate. Hopefully no one. I think now you could. I don't know if you agree or not. I think people shouldn't really complain that much anymore because remember they buffed the rifts by 100%, and then now they keep the anniversary buff. Now it's 100% buff to rifts and bounties. So I think at this point, basically, how many hours you play and the legendaries you've been finding, you think that they don't? Do you think they need to buff the legendaries anymore?
No, I think people need to be happy with getting one every run.
Okay.
You can get one legendary, whether it be green or brown or whatever you want to call it, per hour, per run. I think you need to be happy with that, because if they handed this out like water, there'd be no point. You are literally destroying the game.
Fair enough.
So it's finding that balance, and I think what we have is a good balance. You go too much, and you're just going to get too much.
Okay. Now that we discussed about that, so you know we know what's going to be doing, how they're going to be doing the ladders, and we know that the tournament, the legendary exclusives and ladders are going to be transferring over. And we kind of, I don't think ladders going to be coming out anytime soon. And then they did increase the buff rate, so that is something good to do. Now, one thing Blizzard is actually doing is going in and actually fixing some set items for certain classes that are not performing well, like how you said you got the Invoker set with the shoulder and things of that nature, and they're going to start retroactively buffing them so they make them better. Do you think that basically that's the right idea to do, or it's like you enjoy it? Like, because my way I feel is this: I like seeing that. And I don't think players should have to go re-get the set out of them. I think that's unfair.
Yeah, it is.
But one thing that troubles me, though, is that just like a lot of other video game companies and things that people that do that, it kind of says, like, well, we can just throw this together, throw this set, and if it sucks, we'll just buff it later. So would you like for them to produce more content and they just retro buff stuff to make it big fix later, but just to get you that content, or would you rather wait for it to be right the first time? Because that's a good that is pretty a good way. Some people can go either side. So what do you feel about that?
Personally, with most things in that regard, I like I'd rather wait and get it good.
Right.
You know, when you get a rush job is when you get shit. You know, being that it's a computer game, you can retroactively fix shit. We always go back to Marvel's Capcom 2. Once it's broken, it's broken.
Right.
I don't think that I would want to wait a year for them to put out new armor to tweak it perfectly. Then again, I don't want to find a rare and it's just terrible.
Okay.
So a nice happy ground would be nice for me. But in general, I would rather wait 3 years for this next version, for the next installment to come out and it be good.
Now, do you think most of the major population probably would feel the same, or do you think maybe opinions would vary too much?
I think most people are the opposite. I think most people don't think ahead, and they just want it as soon as possible. Whenever I hear a game gets pushed back, that's always a good sign to me. Because if they push it forward, that means they're trying to hit a deadline. That means they're cutting this out. They're doing this. They're doing that. When something gets pushed back, when a release date gets pushed back, they're adding something. They're going, oh shit, we need this. I never think pushing something back is a bad thing. It's almost always a good thing. I don't think I can think of anything.
Like somebody said in the game, DayZ is a great example. I'm waiting till it gets more polished. And I don't know if you know, DayZ has been a game that's been like an alpha forever. And I don't know if it was DayZ, but all I remember from the creator of the game, he made so much money on the alpha that he sold the rights to another game company. Now he's not even developing for the game anymore. I mean, they still got people developing it.
Right.
Do you think in the trends of what the gaming industry is doing, like, do you think if they keep putting stuff out and patching it later, do you think that will become the norm and then it will be okay, or do you think it's going to end up backfiring and hurting the gaming industry? Honestly, think from a business perspective and actually mixing what you feel as a consumer. Logically, how do you feel?
Like I said, it's got to be a gray area. It has to be good enough to not be shit, and if you can tweak it later, that's fine.
Okay, so you're just saying from a business standpoint, we got to make deadlines. If it's just this one little small area is not performing optimally, at least exclude it, release it later in a patch.
Free.
Fucking
Capcom. First day DLC. It's already on the disc, but you got to pay $5 for it. No. How about I just not buy your game?
All right, so
God, that pissed me off.
You're okay with that, and you think, honestly, from a company standpoint, that this can become the new norm as long as it's nothing that breaks the game, and then you don't get charged for it later just because they fix something.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can definitely see that, and from a business perspective, because I have to say, as getting older, becoming older gamers, I do respect the company's fact they have to make money. They have to appease shareholders, because if they didn't, they wouldn't be able to make the games in the first place. So I think they have to make their money and things of that nature. Okay. Well, that's one nice thing to look out for. I don't think there's anything towards Barbarian that's going to get counteractively buffed, or even for the Crusader. The Crusader only has one set. I'd like to see another set, but Because I think one set for the Crusader is kind of silly. But, Blizzard probably has their plans, and the one set you guys do have is on point. And to be fair, Crusaders really don't need multiple sets. They're strong.
Yeah, I haven't played my Wizard in a while. I think the Crusader replaced the Wizard.
Well, I'm pretty sure that it's just working as intended, I guess. Well, right on. So, personally, to me, man, I wish they would take their time. When I was discussing with people nowadays, I always told people that, especially in the gaming industry now, try to demand content than just stuff that just makes you happy in a second. Like, yeah. I know that everybody wants candy, which candy would be legendaries in this game, but I said, you know what, demand for candy, but also demand for substance. Ask for your meat and potatoes. Hey, you think we can, like one idea, hey, Blizz, why don't you, we go back in time and redo Diablo 2 acts? And some people say, oh, that's stupid, we have done it before. I'm like, it'd be cool just to go back and walk people in who never played Diablo 2, have the graphics be the same, have everything updated, but it's like Diablo 3 engine, but it's Diablo 2. And you just go back in time and you fight in Dario, they can do so much stuff. See, that's what I would like or hope people to demand for. And
you could have a whole thing if they added it, the fucking shard in the last act, you could open a portal to Diablo 2.
I think something like that would be interesting.
Hell, you could do it to 1.
So, but then I asked myself realistically, will that happen? And I said, well, probably not, but...
No, because they would want you to go buy 2.
Exactly. And
if
then
you could buy 3 and get 2 or 1, why would you?
And then on top of that, the players are not creating the demands for stuff. And I guess what I'm just trying to get on my soapbox and stuff like that is that just in general, I want players to demand more substance than just stuff that I think the companies, I don't think the companies have caused the problem. I don't think they're trying to do this. But for the most part, a lot of people get mixed up in the candy and not for the substance. But I guess that's human nature, and that's normal. That really is normal when you think about it.
Yeah.
So, I guess we can just call it wishful thinking. So hopefully down the line, players will start demanding for more substance. I understand they want more legendaries. But I think we all can agree it'd be cool to have an extra act that was just... Oh, we log on one day. Oh, we have an extra act? You guys never told us about it? Oh, this is awesome. Yeah. People would freak out. I think...
Surprises.
But then again, development costs, voice actors, new artwork. I don't know how necessarily the system would work, but, I always try to look at stuff objectively. Mm-hmm. Just like how we were just talking, like I told you, I've been doing a lot of videos and a lot of the posts, and make sure you guys go check out that Reddit guide and also the guide on, Diablo, and also make sure you check out the YouTube, put up another finger. Okay, and also check out the Diablo Incorporated.
You need the other finger. You got 3. Come on.
Because I got guides there. But one thing I noticed, right, not a lot of people are putting out guides and stuff. There's some there and there's some here, but there's no hey, look, this is a build you can do for a new character. Run this shit. And I tell people it's not meant to be the best, and it's not meant to be this, and people always nitpick, and I said, I understand constructive criticism if that's fine, but I tell people say, oh, this isn't efficient. I say, well, what you got to realize is everybody has different gear in the game, right?
Right.
And I think the most integral part of the game is making sure that we have a good system for new players or casual players, right? Because they make up the most player populace, and I always try to tell people, this may not be optimal to you in your sense, your terminology, but you got to keep in mind, not everybody has the same gear, and builds can be run a certain different way, and I think that's why Blizzard has so many different runes and certain legendaries based on what they put into the game, because I'm just trying to get to a question to ask you. Do you think Blizzard has done a good job in showcasing diversity in builds and stuff that you can do in the game?
I'm starting to, now that I'm, watching your videos and shit. Before, it was about, does this item replace the item I already have in strength? Or in power?
Right.
No, get rid of it. Yes, replace it, get rid of your old one, or give it to your, your secondary character. But as I'm watching more and more videos, when you have a set item, doesn't mean you should get rid of it. You get all the other set items, even though it doesn't do on damage more, but if you do this skill, it does more. So like the pet build, the for the Witch Doctor, the pet build.
The dot build with the Jade set?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different ones. And I think that they need to have something internally in the game to kind of go over that, because I don't do research. I do not go online and look up Crusader builds or ways of playing. I don't know what builds there are for Crusader. I don't know what they
So
are.
basically what you're trying to say is when you get a set item, you want the set bonus pieces just to be like straightforward, like, aha, well, obviously I'm supposed to use this skill.
Right.
So you want to make it to the point where you shouldn't have to go online to basically know that this build is good.
Well, I'm saying more or less something in game. Like, if Kane was alive. Instead of Kane identifying things, maybe he would say, back in my day, we used this, and it would show you these builds. Something that I don't have to go onto the internet, that it's in the game. It doesn't have to be so...
Kind of like how in League of Legends and Dota, like when you get into the game, they tell you what items to buy for your character and what they advise to.
Blah, blah, blah. Stuff like that.
Okay.
Like in Dota. Not Dota, League of Legends. We'd play with Dimensional Rift all the time. And do this, do this, do this.
Right.
But I don't remember that. I'm not like that. I just buy the item. So, I don't go online and look up builds for classes. I just go off what's there. Now, if some random guy was the set master and he would go, hey, I see you found this. If you find these and these, you can do this. Something like that, I think would be
that's a really smart idea. I'm wondering why now we haven't thought of that. That is really silly, and I can't believe I never thought of that. To have something in the game that maybe puts an asterisk like, hey, this is just one idea, and maybe they don't reveal all the builds, but maybe they, let's say every class had 7 different builds to do, we reveal 3 of them. So at least you have something to start off with.
Something to have fun with, because then it would encourage keeping that item, finding that item.
Okay.
They could go, hey, you're just missing this one set item. I hear that Asmodan drops it a lot. I hear Asmodan likes to collect those. Maybe you should try hunting Asmodan. Bam! Now the game is staying in storyline and telling you, do Asmodan runs, and you'll have a better chance of fighting this item. So they can go, oh, with this and this and this. You can go over here.
Now,
I thought. Because how do you find out these things? You go online. Someone goes, yeah, I noticed if you're looking for this item, this guy drops them 10 out of 50 times.
and the only reason I know what I know is because I played the class for so dang long.
Right.
And
but
not
if
everybody.
I didn't know you, I wouldn't know.
And that's why I tell people, that's why I'm trying to put out videos. It's not,
Exactly.
and I try to tell people, like, it's not about each individual piece of gear, because I told people, realistically, and what you suggested is really good because it helps the new player. It helps people who don't know what's up. And then once they get going, then they can formulate their own intelligent decisions because they learn the game mechanics by them and they can make the choices. So when I be like making guides and stuff like that, I always tell people like, look, man, like these are the outlines for it. No one else is putting out the videos and listing and stuff like for it. I just want people to know that if they get this item, here's some cool stuff you could do with it.
Right.
And stuff like that, rather than just showing the top-end builds that everybody knows. I can show a pet witch doctor build, kind of knows how they go down. And I always tell people, just because the next time before you post or you criticize somebody or just make a generalization, to be fair, if there was an auction house and there was trading, then you can tell people you need to go get this item because that player can go get that item. If you suggested them to craft something, then you could suggest to them maybe to craft something.
Right.
But then again, I always tell people this. They may not have the money that you have. They may not have the luckiness that you might have. And they may not play as much as you.
Right.
So that's why I always try to tell people, it's good to show people the way. And it's good to also show people what the end product is and what you should be looking for. But you also got to keep things in perspective because most of the player base doesn't have everything.
Okay.
So, I mean, hopefully people can start doing that a little bit more. And hopefully Blizzard definitely puts something inside the game where it does guide players in with their sets and stuff like that. I think that is actually pretty ingenious. And
Patent pending. Or trademark.
Well, it's too late. It's Blizzard. They'll probably take that. You know what, too? They also said that they're going to be doing? They're going to be doing in-game quests and events and things like that, like how you suggested before. So they already stole one of your ideas.
Great.
So, I mean, something like that. I mean, I'm not going to ask you a question on that because we all know that's a good thing for the game. Extra stuff for people to do. So, just to review, 100% legendary buff is here to stay. The extra fragment key shards or whatever to open the rifts are not. The rebuffing, they're going to be retroactive buffing some of the sets that are kind of lackluster.
Cool.
They're going to have ladders be coming out soon. The console game's coming out as well. Legendary ladder items are now going to be made available as soon as the season's over, so that prevents the problem of people who just don't want a ladder. Now they can just wait for the season to get over and get their items and stuff.
Right.
And I'm just trying to think if there's anything else really major. Not too much. I mean, we pretty much... It's the same information, but they're adding more stuff and they're telling us more information. So maybe next week if they put some more stuff about the tier rifts, we can go more than that. And then also I'm going to be submitting my video to Blizzard to see if I can get on Theory Cap Thursday, because that's what they do. Every Thursday they showcase a different build and then they go over which build people vote. And when people vote, then they pick one and then you get to play the games, the build with like all the creators of the game. And see, I'm in a dilemma, and I wanted to ask you your opinion. Do you think, in keeping in mind, your peers vote on the build, which they like, and keeping in mind how people think, do you think it's better to do a high-end build that's really good, that requires good gear, that smashes through the content? Do you think a build like that will get popular? Now, on the one hand, you got everything optimized in the build, and you're doing great damage, and it's good. Negative side, you have a lot of items that people don't have. Or do you go and create a build that everybody can use, but maybe it's not as efficient as the in-game build, so you appeal more to the mass audience, but then on another double-edged sword, it's not as fast as these definitive builds that work? What do you think would garner more attention? An in-game cookie-cutter build, as in you follow the mold,
Right.
you follow to a T, but some of the gears are hard. Some of the gear is harder to obtain, or maybe like when I did with the Grim Reaper build, or different builds like that. It's like it doesn't require a lot to do, but it can get you up in farming. What do you think the people would like to see, honestly?
Would you get to promote it, or is it just here's my entry, here's a run of
You submit the video to Blizzard. If they like everything that they see, you submit like 3 screenshots, the build, the name of it, and what gear you have. And if they like it and they select it, they put it with the other 3 builds. So you have a total of 4 builds for the whole month, 1 for each week every Thursday. Everybody's going to vote on these builds and vote on which one's the best in their opinion, and then they're going to let that person play with the developers on stream.
So I think it would be whatever's the most creative.
That's what I was trying to tell people. And that's what I was thinking too, because if you have like some of the rarest items in game and everything like that, the mass majority of people are not gonna probably want to go for that because they don't have the time, or it's very intimidating. I was trying to tell people, because honestly, the way people vote is this: well, this build's so expensive, this is so crazy, I just want to go the economy build. This build will get me done and let me do this, and it's different and it's fun.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Although I don't necessarily myself even look at that. I don't really go, wow, that's an expensive item. My first mind is, wow, they played a lot and they got this great item. So I don't necessarily try and mimic the build. As a spectator, I would want to see a cool thing. Like, if you could somehow chain this with this. Kind of like the zombie dog thing, when they would explode and come back instantaneously.
Yes.
If you could find something that was
even if it's not the most optimal.
Yeah, even if it's not good. Even if it's a build going, look at what I found. Look at what I found you can do to the game. And you can make... I don't know. I don't know enough to even give you an example. But with the Crusader with the shield bash. If you go this, and this, and this, and this, and you throw the shield, and it breaks off, and then it continues again and breaks off, but because I have it, it resets it, and it does it 5 times, and I just go, and it goes, and I'd stand there, shield comes back to me, and I walk, and everything's just dead. I would love to see that vote.
Okay. Because, like I always try to tell people, like, I don't think necessarily the best build or the high-end build is... Because, like, a lot of the people in the comments, when I read that, they're like, oh, this is just another time to people to show off all their gear and how, like, they don't have so much time to play the game. blah blah blah. Like a lot of people, and that got like a lot of upvotes because you know people upvote now and everything.
Yeah.
Like the upvote, the thing that scared me was like there was like 127 people up. Like I was sitting there, I'm gonna make an ultimate build for the Witch Doctor, showing Starman of Kukuri, which resets my big bad voodoo and lets me do all this crazy ass damage. I was like, yeah. And then I read in the description comments like, yeah, you know those guys that do that, like, you know, Starman of Kukuri build that has a big bad voodoo, and they're like, yeah, and they do all the awesome damage? Yeah. Excuse my language. Fuck those guys. I can't wait till we start voting. I'm going to downvote them just because. And it got like 100 upvotes, and I'm like, oh no, you know, I can't post this build.
If you can
Even though it's optimal and the most fast, efficient run in the game for the class, people do not want to see that.
I think it's something you want to see. It's kind of like when you watch somebody play Street Fighter, or Marvel's Capcom. When they do that insane combo at the end and you jump in the air, when it was Daigo did the fucking Ken versus Chun-Li. You jump out of your chair, you're like, oh shit! I think that's what people want to see.
Rather than just seeing the same standard stuff.
Yeah, it's impressive to how fast your character, or Coco, can kill Gom on T6. Yeah, it's impressive. But if you played like that all the time, I wouldn't watch. It's not fun.
You want to see somebody basically doing something realistically entertaining. You know, just basically switch. Like, you don't want to keep coming and seeing the same person run the same exact build over and over. You want to see them switching it up, trying different stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you're very involved into what the character does, more or less the personality, which is whenever I watch someone, like I'm watching Awesome Games Done Quick on YouTube. When they just sit there, play, I just stop giving a shit. Yeah, you're doing it great, but you're just sitting there. I like the guy that explains why in Mega Man, I think it was X2, when you're fighting against the Walrus, if you jump right as he's about to turn around, the computer makes him look at the wall again. So all you do is you jump, hit him. So you literally do this. 1, 2, 1, 2. I want to know that. I want to be entertained. If I want to sit there and watch someone play the game,
you'll play it yourself.
Yeah. So to me, it's whenever I watch someone, it's about the personality of the person. If you're just sitting there playing a game, not talking.
So what you're saying is, what do you think, in your opinion, for the mass majority of people out there, people just want to have fun?
Have fun. Find something cool. Find a glitch, even if it sucks. You don't even have to do it well.
Do you think some people focus too much more on min-maxing and trying to get the most optimal best build?
If you're playing the game, that's fine. But me, if I was going to go, what out of these 4, which one do I like? I'm going to find the one that has the dogs. Because that one was cool. Wow, he get to do this and this. Or if you somehow got the Crusader to be on the Fire Horse and it's permanent.
That's true.
And all he does is just run around them and fucking it's Ponyta and he's doing fire spin. Or it's, fucking find something. My advice is find something nobody else has and you'll get it there.
All right,
something interesting.
I think we covered a good amount of topics today. Now, last week I told Nate Dogg to go out and get like a lot of fucking of the caches. Where'd you put them at? Oh, they're there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You couldn't get 10, motherfucker? Okay, 9's better than none. 9's better than none. So what we're actually going to do is we're actually going to look through all this and see what stuff you got. You think you're lucky?
No, I don't.
Okay, so Nathan's up to Torment level 1 now. Hopefully, let's see how lucky he's going to get.
Should we go to Torment level 6?
It doesn't matter anymore. They fixed that.
Does now.
They fixed that. You can't do that no more. They took that out. People were abusing that. All right, so were these all done on different acts or just all one act?
Whatever was available.
Okay, let's go ahead and click everything open. And you got a belt.
I feel cheated.
Yeah, well, think about it this way. You got a lot of gems.
Just pick up everything.
And you probably got the ones that were affected by the buff, so you're going to have, like you got, like, a lot of Rift Shard fragments. Looks like you might have got a Harrington's belt, and a lot of people love that. I kind of don't care for it too much, but I know a lot of people do. Harrington's belts, like, whenever you touch anything that flips over, like, touch anything, or basically, like, anything, like, qualifies as a chest, which is, like, a dead body or things like this, you get this massive DPS boost.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's good.
I found the one that's gold.
Yeah. And I told people I like that. That's cool, but I only like to use. People think I'm weird from only using items that actually never have to rely on an effect or something like that. It's just self-sufficient. But that's for another day and another discussion.
All right, Daddy needs a new belt.
Well, you got 18 of them. It was okay. And Insta belt. Picking up health globes increases your maximum life by 5% for 15 seconds, tapping up to 5 times. You can reroll it and maybe get a little bit more toughness.
What could I could get rid of regenerates life.
And then get all resistance.
Strength.
And it'll just be like a super tanky belt, which allows you to get some other stuff. But, I mean, that's not bad, though. Pick up health glows increases your maximum life by 5% for 15 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Okay. But he did get this nice Blade of Prophecy, which is good for Condemned, and then I don't really know how to use it because I don't run that on my Crusader. I run hammers, and that's it.
I don't even know what Condemned is.
Well, it's a skill that you have that basically when you explode, it does a lot of damage. And there's different runes for it. All I know is that this is a high-level weapon that a lot of people look for, and I know that it is... Just hold on to it.
Okay.
And if you get the extra resources, because I know you're on a budget with your 322... I'm sorry. You could get it socketed and put, a ruby or put an emerald in it or whatever.
9% damage. I already got it.
Yeah, and the damage is good for now. So until you get extra money, I say just don't worry about it just for now and stuff like that. But anyways, as always, we appreciate you guys watching the stream. But before we cut it off, we gotta do okay. You guys can ask Nate Dogg 3 questions and he'll respond. And then on top of that, your homework for next week is to...
Trying to think.
You know what? What I really want to see you do is I want you to do rifts, and I want you to gamble shields, and I want you to get a legendary shield.
Okay.
Do rifts, gamble from Kadala, see what, or focus on trying to get legendaries from Keldala and let us know what happens. Because now Kadala, she drops all legendary items now.
I got these 2 rings, and I'm trying to figure out how to make them better.
Okay. So you got this ring that has strength, attack speed, critical chance. Yeah, just roll this to critical damage, but it's very expensive to reroll a fucking ring. It's really expensive.
Yeah, I know. I did the other one.
This one, you need to reroll the regeneration to critical damage, and that will be trifecta, and that will be you won the game. I don't think you won the game per se. There's better rings than that, but that's very strong. Now this one has strength. You want to reroll the life percent to something else or anything else, and you have a socket. It's very expensive, dude. So be careful. Yeah. I would just say, if anything,
my first one is always my weaker ones. That way you don't have to hit tab.
I would just say you should probably just run this Leoric Synod because it gives you a little bit more toughness. I know you lose 5.2% damage, but the experience you gain, it will help you because you're only at a torment level 113. And then with those torment levels, think about that. You get strength, you get crit percent chance, and you get crit damage. So I actually would just put that ring on at least where you're killing stuff.
It gives me 0.7 toughness. It doesn't even give me a lot. This one gives me a bunch.
Or you can use that one. Either ring is fine, but you lose more damage. But if you put like a ruby in there, that'd be fine. And plus with the gem thing, you get another
70.
So, well, actually, they changed it to a percentage now.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. So, just use the ring because you'll get more experience. It's 1.5% your strength. I don't know if that's good or bad. I haven't did the calculations and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, so I got those from Kaldala.
So, you're going to go Kaldala, and I want you to play around. Okay, I want you to use Condemned and get the most out of that. Play around with that skill. Also, homework. Rifts and Kaldala and go for a shield. And let me see what kind of shield you can get.
What is Condemned? Is it... I don't even know what it is, so...
Right, keep clicking. Nope. Next one. No, next one. Yeah, it is.
Oh, there it is.
Build up a massive explosion, unleashing it after 3 seconds. So basically, you build the explosion, and then everything gets hit. You have vacuum. As the explosion charges up, it sucks enemies in. Closer to exploring, the more enemies it sucks in. Okay, I can see that. So you got the vacuum. Unleash. The explosion now unleashes instantly, so you don't have to wait. Okay. So that I could see these two both. Eternal, reduce the cooldown for each enemy hit by explosion. Okay, I could see that because it's 15 seconds. You hit about 8 enemies, it reduces it by that much. I could see that. Shattering explosion increases damage area. Okay, kind of see that one. And then also repropagate, which is fire property. A great deal of damage taken while the explosion is building is added to the damage of the explosion, which is interesting. But then you got to take damage, and it's like that's really weird. Yeah.
So what would you think?
I don't know. I'd probably use vacuum or at least play with them all. I can't see a point for reciprocate, and shattering explosion just makes the what was it? Shattering explosion increases the damage area. In all honesty, what happened? Did I click something?
You broke it, man.
Oh, let me go forward. There we go. My mouse must have clicked something. So, I mean, you could just Google, if you really wanted to, like, Crusader, what's the best condemned rune. And the reason I'm not going to ask the stream, because they know, and I want you to do it from your casual point of view, how you would go about trying to figure out condemn.
I'll fuck around with it. I'll probably end up going vacuum, so let's just go ahead and set that now.
So let us know how that goes for you, and how to combo and everything like that.
So let's see. Let's look at what does it do again? So all condemned enemies also trigger condemns explosion. What is condemns explosion?
Well, I'm assuming that if you condemn an enemy and you hit 10 monsters with condemns, all condemned enemies also trigger condemns explosion. So I'm assuming it triggers on triggers on triggers. It's like a boom 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 boom. Just everything triggers. If I'm not incorrect, they say that his weapon is OP. I got on my Crusader half elite mobs, HP on T3, me geared though. Yeah, okay.
Let's see. Here, do condemned on him. See what it does.
Yeah, because like I said, I only played hammers on mine, but okay, well, I guess we could see what condemn does.
Hit 2 and run faster.
No, you ride a horse. You're not running faster.
Go Ponyta.
Actually, you are moving faster because they took away that debuff thing or whatever.
All right, so
okay.
just keep 1. So
1.
They just died.
Yeah, I didn't really.
They just died, but they don't die.
As an explosion changes up, it sucks in enemies. Okay, so here comes condemned.
Oh, it's dragging them towards. Oh, that was probably it. That little blast from the sky.
I don't understand what the point of condemned is, unless I'm not. Can somebody in chat explain what condemned does? I mean, I know we know what it does, but what does the legendary effect does? I think I'm just not noticing it.
Somebody said it will trigger a max of 2 extra explosions.
Okay. So I guess this hits hard and then it triggers again.
Oh, okay.
They said set it to instant explosion. So let's set it to instant explosion, which is the one. No, next one. Least. Okay. Any enemy hit by condemned triggers another condemned explosion. So basically that means it's supposed to trigger 3 times or roundabout. So we'll cast it.
Oh, okay. So basically if you're surrounded, you hit that. Boom, 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 boom.
You need more mobs, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so we got a pretty good mob here. We're going to wait. And now we're going to...
Well,
I think I had to wait till everything was around.
You know what? Go back to town and go to Act 1 of... Or no, the first part of Act 4. You know when you have to kill the guy and all those little fuckers are around you?
Yeah, we could do that.
Check it. Try it.
We could do that. Or actually, let's go to Act... I know, okay, let's do Act 1. Let's do Fields of Misery, because there's a pretty mobby out there. Because we would actually have to leave the game and go back into story mode.
No, you wouldn't. You just go to that act. Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
That was my knee meat.
That was your knee meat. I didn't know. Knees don't have meat, motherfucker.
There you go.
Okay, this is enough, motherfuckers. All right, this better be good. Okay, I guess I could see that. It did explode. Maybe I'm not seeing it.
There you go. Now do it again.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's like
doing it.
I'm surrounded. That's what it is.
That's actually pretty interesting. And I bet if you stack the damage, that actually would be very good. So basically, the more enemies you have around it, the more condemns you trigger. The more condemns you trigger, everybody's getting hit by that shit. Okay. Okay.
Actually, I think with mobs it'd be better to have the vortex. They just get sucked in.
Yeah. Well, that's true, but I think the reason why they say explosion so you can control it better. And you can determine, okay, I want to use it now. Boom, 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 and it just explodes. Okay, so maybe use the vortex one. Just use it for a while. See how you like it, and see how it goes for you, and see if you really do like it. And if you don't like it, then just let us know. Just be like, I didn't like it. All right.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and give Nate Dogg the Q&A session. You guys can ask him 3 questions that are appropriate. He will read the chat, and he will go ahead and let you guys know his responses. That's pretty much for the end of the show. So as always, if you guys are on YouTube checking this out, thank you for watching the show. We'll be back next week. Nate Dogg's homework for next week is to do Kildala. Well, let me rephrase that so people don't laugh at home. He needs to run rifts and then give shards to Kildala to get a shield. He's also going to play test Condemn because he has a weapon that apparently is real OP, as people say, and makes Condemn work really well. So he can go ahead and ask him questions. I'm going to use the bathroom, and I'll be right back.
All right.